Okay, I've been through the whole interview process here. Questions. What is there that you're not sure about, that you're not comfortable with? Let's spend a little time with that, and that'll probably take us in a few other different directions. Yes, sir. You got to use the mic there.
When's a good time to talk about the salary, or is it the salary structure pretty much the same? Because I know, like in Champaign Unit 4, they have the salary chart already.
Yes.
But do they follow that strictly for the new teachers coming in, or is it different for each person?
No, it's most school districts now have some kind of an organization, a union, if you will. Some organizations don't want to be referred to as unions, and the salary structure is set. So there's not going to be much flexibility there. So, if you're offered a job in school A and another job at school B, you can't negotiate with A because B has a higher salary. That's probably just not going to happen. But what you can do, and I say this with a grain of salt, I guess, is you can always explore other opportunities for income, whether it be coaching, whether it be some kind of extra differential that's involved. And I'm probably going to ask you that question. Is there anything else that you'd have an interest in? And I'm always looking for those positions because there's always differential positions that are open. But don't say that you'll do something and not be able to do it. If you never sang, I don't want you to do the after school singing program. Okay, it's not going to work. And so know what your interests are, and if photography is your hobby, and there's a photography club, boy, I'd love to do the photography club. That would be something that I think I could do a good job with, and promote that. But don't, I don't want you to coach cross country if you don't know the difference between cross country and track. Okay, but those are some opportunities. Yes.
Coach or the cheerleading sponsor, but I can say, I'll take tickets at basketball games, or I'll supervise dances or something. If there's nothing that you're really interested in, there are other avenues that you can go to show some interest in the school and maybe not be the basketball coach where you have no knowledge, or the music.
Exactly. And that's one thing I didn't talk about, and I need to mention it because you brought it up. Part of that enthusiasm, I want teachers that are going to be visible, okay? And I want teachers not only are going to be visible in the hallway, but I want teachers that are going to take an interest in what their kids are doing. And there are so many things out there that the kids are doing. And if you're in elementary school and you don't have an after-school program, but your kids are involved in, you've got a couple of kids that are involved in ballet lessons, going to that ballet recital goes so far. You cannot believe what an impression it makes on the kid and on the parent and on the principal. And you have all been students, and you've all had teachers that have taken a real interest in you for whatever reason and shown that interest. And going to the musical and being able to go back in the classroom tomorrow and say, Sally, boy, you just did a great job last night. I was so impressed with what you did. Sally, you've won Sally over for the rest of your life. Okay? And you're doing it sincerely, and Sally says, you know what? Mrs. Johnson really cares about what I'm doing. And it shows with those extracurricular activities and being involved, being part of the school, the community. And that's why teaching is so difficult, is because it's a 20-hour day, folks. Not every day, but there are things going on, and you've got to do those things to be successful. And it's fun. And if you don't think it's fun, I moved from the junior high school into the high school after I taught in the junior high school for 3 years. It was a junior high then, not a middle school. And I thought, this is terrific. We've got homecoming, we've got the prom, we've got all these things going on. We've got football games, we've got musicals. And I was real excited about that because we didn't have a lot of those things at the junior high level. Okay? And it was fun. Now, I didn't spend every night of the week at school doing something, but I did find activities that involved different students and try to show some support and some interest for them. And for whatever successes I had, a big part of that was because the students knew I was interested in what they were doing. And that's real important.
How many of you have done something in student teaching that's been like this? Let's talk. Okay. What have you done?
We've done fun night and take tickets and sell tickets for fun night.
Okay.
Anybody else have something? Yes.
I've done football, and I also make sure that for volleyball or cross country or golf meets, try my best to get there. Not so much for the golf team, but for the volleyball games, I've been to quite a few of them. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you don't have to go and stay the entire time. You go and you see a little bit about what's going on, and you can go back the next day to the students that were involved and say, I heard you lost last night. What I saw looked really good. I'm sorry you lost, but just reinforce them for what they've done, and even taking tickets. There again, you're seeing the students, you're seeing their parents maybe, and it's a great opportunity to promote yourself, and that's a huge piece.
These
you're
are the
an
things you
important
want to
piece.
hear in an interview, correct?
Absolutely.
So, Caleb,
Absolutely.
tell them what you're doing with kids after school. Say these things. Say these things when you go into your interview. I was a part of the wellness fair. We did a walkathon at Westview School, and I helped to make the poster in the hall. I did these things for the International Food Fair. All these things tell that you have commitment. Tell what you're doing.
There's an after-school tutoring program in the library at Central High School, Monday through Thursday, and I'm at the school anyway planning. So what I've done is I've taken it upon myself to invite some of the students that most of the teachers don't really reach out to come down there for tutoring. And I might not necessarily focus all my time on helping them, but I at least model, let's get our work done. If they need help in my content area, I'll help them, but, otherwise I send them to the tutors. But
Excellent.
just trying to get some of the kids that they're not.
Absolutely. Outstanding.
yeah.
And everyone in this room can relate to some students that don't relate to other people real well. You can find some students that you can relate to, and they may be outcasts, and it makes such a difference. And I'm sure the students that you're encouraging to come in, and you said they're ones that other teachers maybe have given up on or who they don't have time for, those students are responding to you, and you're getting success out of those students. That's fantastic activity, and promote that. Promote that in your interviews, that you've done that, and this is something that really just adds a little extra to my life, and I enjoy it. Again, that enthusiasm that's involved with that. Other questions, other thoughts, things that you're worried about, concerned about, or that you feel real good about? Do you feel like you're pretty well prepared coming out of student teaching to be teachers? I see a number of you shaking your head yes. Okay.
All these people who talk all the time in front of kids are all mute with a microphone.
This doesn't really relate to this. My situation is a little different. I'm going to be moving back. I have a mother that has dementia, and I'm going to be moving closer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Minnesota. I'm about 11 hours away by driving right now. I'd like to be anywhere 3 to 4 hour
Sure.
range.
Mm-hmm.
He might have no idea, but how do I go about? Is it simply all on the internet to find out what jobs are possibly available? Does Eastern Illinois, I wonder, even if they know about Wisconsin or Minnesota?
A little bit, if Wisconsin or Minnesota advertises with them. But I would certainly go to the University of Minnesota, or go to one of the
University of Minnesota.
Yeah, or one of the universities within that system, or a university that's close to where your mother is. And there was a time when I was real interested in going to Texas for a lot of reasons, and I would go to the University of Texas in Austin when I was there, and go to their education department, and would talk to them about positions that they knew about. But with the internet now, even the smallest schools have websites, and they always have hiring and job opportunities out there. So
That's I'm going to have such a big area. That
do you know anything about the area? Are there some places that you'd really like to work?
Yeah.
I would start with those.
Okay.
You know?
I lived there 25 years.
Okay.
I've been here for 17 years in Champaign now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to be going back.
Yeah, I would pinpoint 4 or 5 places and find their websites and see what's available out there, and then make a few phone calls. And
What about the aspect of me being an older guy? I mean, I don't know. My chances is up against some 25-year-old kid that's going to coach, and he's going to do a number of things. Certainly, I may, I could possibly coach or do some things. I did that, years and years ago, but
that's not a disadvantage for you. In many cases, it's an advantage because you're a little bit more mature. You know what you've got to do at this point in your life. I don't think that hurts you at all. I mean, I guess my philosophy was I want to hire the best person for the job, and I don't care if that person is 52 years old and is only going to work for 3 more years, or if that person is 22 years old and is going to work for 40 more years. I want the best person, and again, sometimes as we get older, the old enthusiasm wanes a little bit, So you've got to sell yourself, and you've got to sell yourself as this is really what I want to do, and I don't know what your backgrounds are by any means, but certainly don't go into a job interview and say, I really wanted to be a rocket scientist, but I just couldn't handle the coursework, so I think I'm going to be a math teacher. I'll tell you what, we're done. Now, maybe you really wanted to be a rocket scientist, and maybe the coursework really was too much for you to handle, but don't ever give me the indication that teaching is is an afterthought. Okay? If I'm not going to hire. There's no way in the world I'm going to hire somebody. I would hire somebody that I was going to have to work a lot with, who had the enthusiasm and the passion. So just that's one of those things you don't do. But I think that I probably don't have to say that. Yes.
This is just a tip. I went to the Illinois State Board of Education website, and there's a job bank on there, and you can search any position, and I actually put my name in, and within the next day I had 3 job offers.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
just a tip.
Okay, very good, very good.
There's also here, go ahead.
All the universities, have the job banks out there, but it's up to the school district to send the information to Eastern. And if my school district doesn't send it to Eastern, then you don't see that there's a position open.
Last year I went to the career fair here at Eastern just to go. It was pretty early obviously I don't graduate till this year, but
Okay.
I had a school contact me that was about 4 hours away from home, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to move that far away, but is it bad to they emailed me and offered for me to come down to interview because they were interested. Is it bad to go for interviews like that if you're not 100% sure that?
No, if you're
just
not,
to check it
if
out?
you absolutely would not take the position, I wouldn't waste your time. But at the same time, you guys need experience in interviewing, and the more you interview, the more comfortable you're going to be, and the more exposure you're going to have to different interviewing methods and styles. So, if they contacted you and said, "Hey, we would like to see you," come down and talk to us about the job, and you never know. I mean, you may get down there and say, "This is a great opportunity, and I can deal with 4 hours." So I would take that. Now, if it was someplace far, far away and you had absolutely no intention of doing it, I wouldn't do that. But because it's a waste of your time and it's a waste of the interviewer's time. But if it's something that's a possibility, I would definitely do it. I mean, the experience there is tremendous. I can see people that are on their first interview versus people that are on their 3rd or 4th or 5th interview. And you can't do anything about that except for interview 4 or 5 times, and every time you're going to get a little bit better with it. So, what else?
Job fair, there are people that come from faraway places. Las Vegas is one.
Yeah.
California is another. Texas,
Texas.
Hawaii, offering you contracts on the spot. How should they